Hello, welcome. This is Patty Bennett. I am really happy and excited to share some pretty cards with you today. We're going to be coloring using the Stamparatus background stamp. It's going to be fun. Let me know if you're here. I would love to say hello. So if this is your first time joining me, be sure to say hi so that I can welcome you. I'm just about a minute early, so I just thought I would just keep coloring a bit until everyone has had a chance to jump on. This is my weekly live crafting video on Fridays on my business Facebook page. So if you're catching me live, it is Friday, October 29th. 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I just wanted to say hi and welcome. You might be watching a replay, which is totally fabulous as well. So give me a hello, say hi, let me know if you're here. And oh, hey, I see Randy, Tanya, Ann, Marissa, Kay, Patricia, Lynn, Cindy, Dita, oh my goodness, so many. Hello, Mary. Hi, Julie. Hey, everyone. I'm just putting down some color here a little bit while we wait for everyone to join the live. I am using the really beautiful Words of Cheer bundle today. And the background stamp that I'm using is called Festive Foliage. So we're going to go over those in just a minute. I'll show you those. I think I get brownie points for being able to talk and color at the same time. What do you think? Hi, Margene. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Linda. Two Tammys. Hi, Sharon, Connie, Linda, Wendy, Lisa, Karen, Mary. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hey, Sandy. She says, I almost never catch the lives. Well, I'm glad you caught me today. That is great. So let me just show you, now that I think everyone has jumped on here and found us at the top of the hour, I want to show you what we're going to make and the stamp set bundle that we're using. So we're going to make one of these. I don't think you need to see me make both, because once you see me make one, then you kind of get it, right? Hi, Talina, Carol, Joe, Robin. Yay! Yes, I hadn't used this set yet either, Tammy, so I'm excited to use it. This is from a bundle called Words of Cheer. So this is what the stamp set looks like, and it's basically got this one nice large image that I chose to stamp in black and color in with my Stampin Blends. And it also has all these terrific holiday greetings. Very lovely. And you can combine them. So you could say Happy Holidays. You could say Happy Christmas. You could say Christmas Day, Season's Greetings. Lots of different ways to combine them. You could also use these two images to fill in. But I just chose, like I said, stamp it in black, Memento ink, color it with my Stampin Blends. So it's nice that you have that option. There are dies that coordinate with this. So we are going to be using this outline piece here to die cut this when we're done. And then there's also Happy Cheer. And I'll show you a sample at the end, just a little bonus project that we're not going to actually make, but I'll show you how I used those dies at the end. All right, let's see. Oh, the background stamp. I covered it up and I was like, what am I talking about here? The background is this nice, great big background that's called Festive Foliage. And I stamped it I wanted to kind of get a feel for, well, what did I want to do? How does it look? So I've got 3 different greens plus white, and I used different colors of green to stamp it. And like I said, I just like to kind of play and to see how things work. instead of like just jumping in and making a card, I kind of play around a little bit when I get something new. And, you know, this is something that I didn't used to do, but I kind of learned this from Leticia Hernandez. She is an awesome stamper on my team, and she just has a great way of getting out her new supplies, playing, and just doing some experimenting. I thought it was really such a fun way to just experiment and get to know your products, your new products. Hi, Shirley. That's Mom, too. I love you. Hey, Lenny. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Elaine. Welcome, everyone. So let me tell you my process here. I am putting light real red Stampin' Blends ink on my petals first. Then I'm going to add some shadow. So there's my light real red. I am going to add shadow with my light cherry cobbler. And if you've watched any of my Stampin' Blend video tutorials, you know that I am not afraid to mix and match colors. So in this case, real red and cherry cobbler. But it makes a nice contrast that you don't necessarily get with the light and dark red. So that's why I pulled in the cherry cobbler. Now I've got dark real red, and I'm going to just do a tiny bit of blending right where those two colors meet. And this really is a pretty small image. You don't have to do a lot of detailed coloring on here, but I just like to. I like to try to give it a nice blend of color, dark to light. Dark where the petal is meeting the center of the flower, and lighter out towards the tip. There's no right and wrong. It's just how I select to do that. Then I have dark daffodil that I'm putting in the center. And that is how I complete my flowers. And I think in my little world today, these are poinsettias. That's trying to make a Christmassy look. It doesn't have to be Christmassy. You could do this in other colors. And I will just mention for this one, I wanted a cooler palette. And so my lighter color here was actually light flirty flamingo. And I mixed that with the red and the cobbler. And then I used my cooler greens. So the jade and the succulent and evergreen. So you can see the difference. I know my husband kind of thinks I'm weird that I think in colors this way, but this is a warmer color palette because I've introduced the yellow greens like the Granny Apple and the Pear Pizzazz. And this is a cooler palette because the greens have a blue tint. And I guess not everybody kind of thinks in color that way, but I do. And it helps me to pull colors together. So this one is more of a warm palette. This one is more of a cool palette. I don't know. Do any of you think in color that way? Am I just weird? Maybe I'm just weird. But anyway, it helps me to think through the colors that I'm using. This is light Granny Apple Green. And I am putting color basically everywhere on these holly leaves. And then I am going to add the light Granny Apple Green to these other pieces of greenery. I don't know what they are. They're just some kind of a filler, right? And I will add darker color to them to give them a little bit of shadow and shape. And I apologize if you hear noise. There are guys up on the roof. They are doing siding and painting and trim and just basically, trying to get our buildings here to be maintained well. And They're stomping around up there, and they have a pressure washer, and they are spraying the building. We live in a duplex, so we have one common wall with our neighbor, and there's an association that we pay monthly, and they maintain our buildings, which is lovely. I kind of like that I don't have to worry about all of a sudden, oh my gosh, do I need a new roof or do I need to paint? So it's covered with our association dues. So anyway, I don't have any say on when they're here. And of course they're here while I'm doing a live video. Let's see, oh, Susan, if you missed it, we are using the Words of Cheer set. And it is this big image here that I've stamped in Memento ink. And then I'm coloring with my Stampin Blends. So this now is dark shaded spruce. So this is a really dark color. And I'm just adding little bits of color where I know that I will have my darkest greens. So just down at the tips, like I'm making basically a dot. This isn't really even considered coloring, right? This is just a little dot. But can you see, I hope you can see in the video, just how neat that looks when you've got those three colors happening. And then I will use my light Granny Apple to just go over and give those three colors a little bit of a blend so it doesn't look like three separate colors, and it just gives a nice shadow effect, shaded effect. Just blend those. I can hear the ladders clomping around up there. I can't even go out and watch those guys. They are way high up on the second floor on the roof, and I can't even watch. Just makes me nervous. Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad that you are agreeing with me on the cool and the warm colors. Yes, Susan, sorry if you've missed it. It's the Words of Cheer set. It's this image right here. Sorry. Yeah, I went over that towards the beginning. So now what we're going to do is add red to the berries. And this is light real red, making a little circle on each berry. And I'm going to add some darker red to each one so that they look a little bit rounded and not just like a flat circle. And I'm going to use the light cherry cobbler to give just a, it's like I'm making like a U or a C, so it's kind of like this on each one. And that just gives it a little bit of shadow, a little bit of definition. So you can either do it where it's going to meet the stem, or you can pick any part of it that you would like to give it a little bit of extra shadow and definition. And I think that looks great. Then the last thing, and then we're done. I mean, this is really so quick, right? I am going to use light shaded spruce, the bullet end, and I am going to just kind of follow along where those stems are, so that it's not just black. And if you find, like I do, I like to turn my paper so that my hand is always kind of going in a natural direction for me being right-handed. And I'm going to do something else on this one, so I'm just going to go down the middle. One more up here, just saw it. So actually this one I'm not going to do too much to, so we'll just give that one the light shaded spruce. But what I'm going to do with this one is the dark Granny Apple green. I am going to fill in, not really fill in, okay, I'm outlining, that's a better word. I'm seeing a few comments go by out of the corner of my eye. Give me just 1 minute here and I will check back with your comments. And then just kind of lightly fill in a little bit with the light Granny Apple Green. And really, I think that's all I'm going to do to that. You know what? I'm going to give just a little bit of Granny Apple Green so there's kind of a mix of color here. So kind of Granny Apple on one side of the stem and that shaded spruce on the other. And that's going to really pull in those colors together. Okay, I love that. So pretty. And my Wink of Stella is going to be my final tip on here, but let me just scroll back for those of you watching live and catch any of these comments. Thank you, Christy. She said, so lovely. Thank you, Paulette. I'm glad you enjoy watching me color and explaining my process. Thanks, Talina. Yeah, outlining the black. Look, we can look right here. So here's just the black, and then here's giving all those stem pieces some color. There's quite a nice difference, right? I really like that. Hi, Tanya. So glad you're here for the first time. Thank you for joining me. So this is the card that we're going to recreate. And so I've colored it in the same greens and the same reds. And if you missed in the beginning, I was explaining how this is a little bit of a different palette without the Granny Apple Green and the yellow. So it's a cooler palette. And this is the Evening Evergreen cardstock. So I am going to add some Wink of Stella. Then we're going to let this dry while we stamp the background. So Wink of Stella, you always want to shake it up. I'm doing it off camera because it gets like real jittery if I show you this on camera, but I'm shaking it up. Oh, and yes, Linda just mentioned the palette. So if you've watched, I think I have about 15 or more Stampin' Blend video tutorials for you on my YouTube channel. I always like to swatch the colors first because I like to see which colors I'm going to use and what goes together. There have been several occasions where I've done this and I'll use a color and I think, oh my gosh, that does not go at all with the rest of these. And so then I don't use it. But I really like to do this and then I keep them all. I have this whole pile of them here. So I keep them all and I can refer back and I can see what colors I've used before, what goes together nicely. And then I don't have to recreate for every single project. So when you use Wink of Stella, the glitter solution, I guess we would say, is up in here in the barrel and you squeeze it and it comes down into the tip. If you haven't used it for a while, you want to shake it like I did, and then you want to give a little squeeze and you want to dab it off on your scratch paper, because if you do that on your project, you risk getting a big blob of glitter and it'll just be like, crazy. It won't look good. So what I'm doing is I'm making a little V at the tip of each petal. I decided rather than filling in each petal, I would just do the tip, and it really turned out pretty. I really love the way it looks. I can hear those guys up on the roof. I don't know if you can hear that. It's cracking me up. All the noises. All the wonderful noises. And then let's do a little dab. Again, not filling in the entire thing, but just a little dab on each berry, and they look fabulous with Wink of Stella. If you're ever wondering about what to add to any order, I highly recommend Wink of Stella. This stuff is just awesome. So can you see the sparkle just on the tips of each one and then on the berries? Hope you can see it. Oh, good, Tammy. I'm glad you can't hear them. It's loud up there. Hi, Rita. Glad you made it. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks, Leslie. She says she loves the evening evergreen one. My favorite green is Granny Apple Green. I know it's kind of weird because I don't wear that color. I don't own that color in my wardrobe, but I love it to color with. So yeah, here's the difference again. So we're going to set this aside and just let that Wink of Stella completely dry while we stamp the background. And I want to give you some tips for using your Stamparatus and a background stamp. So if you're not familiar, this is the Stamparatus, and it is a stamp positioning tool. So it has a hinge here, and if I lift straight up, this plate comes off. You can do lots of different techniques by moving this plate. I have an entire video about that. And there's another row down here where you can add another plate if you want to have two plates going at once. We only need one plate today, so I've just got the one on there. This is Pear Pizzazz cardstock, just the regular 5.5 by 8.5 scored in half at 4 1/4. I am going to line this up, this grid paper. You've seen me use these pads on my videos a lot. I love this. It's an 8 by 8 grid paper stack. It's meant for the Stamparatus, but I love to use it when I travel and I'm taking stamping supplies or just when I want something smaller. So I've got that in my Stamparatus. I am lining up my cardstock at the 1 inch mark each way, and then it comes with magnets. So I'm putting my magnet pieces over here because we're stamping on this piece. And I do have a series of Stamparatus video tutorials on my YouTube channel, so I will try to remember to link to those up here when this goes on replay on my YouTube channel. So here is our background stamp. By the way, do you know this tip? I just learned this a couple weeks ago from Lisa Ryan. This is a piece of washi tape, okay? When we use our cling stamps on the Stamparatus, on a clear block, even when we store them in our clear cases, sometimes you will find that they stick so well that you can barely get them peeled up. So that little corner up here where this little piece of washi tape is stuck to the label allows me to put my finger under here and peel it up. Okay, I never knew this. If I knew this, I've forgotten this tip. It's a great tip. So I've been adding a little piece of washi tape to my clear mount stamps, my cling mount stamps, so that I can peel them up off of my block or my Stamparatus. Do you guys do this? It's amazing. Anyway, okay, enough of that. So we are going to place our stamp, our background stamp. This is approximately, I think, in the middle of that right panel of my card. And then I just close the flap, and I am going to just press so that it picks up the stamp. And then I know that this is at the 1 inch mark. See the 1 inch here and the 1 inch here. Just in case this moves, I know I could put it back right there and get it in the right place. So this is Pear Pizzazz cardstock. I am going to ink it in my happy color, Granny Apple Green. I saw somebody call it a happy color. That was really cute. I loved that. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed those tips. And then all we have to do is close this up and press. And the reason I'm doing this in the Stamparatus, 2 reasons. If you use the really large block for these big background stamps, it can be difficult for people to hold it. Now I have a really wide spread, like I can play 10 keys on a piano, but a lot of people don't have big hands and it's hard to grab the big block. As we get older too, arthritis and whatnot makes it difficult. I can attest to that. But the other reason is that when you stamp, can you see like I didn't get that inked just perfectly and stamped just perfectly? So I am going to just get this little more inky, and I am going to stamp again and get this background just a little bit better stamped. Stamped better. Sorry, that was like really bad English, right? All right. Actually, I'm looking on the video over here on my iPad. It didn't look bad, but I can just see a couple spots where it wasn't completely inked. So now we have that inked, and we can remove it because it's all good. And we're going to use this as the background of our card. Now you want to clean this. There are different ways that you might want to do it. I just have a microfiber cloth that I have damp, and I just like to kind of wipe off over here before I remove this and put it back into my case. That's just my preference. There are different ways that you can do that. But then remember, this corner here with the washi tape allows me to just peel that back up, put it right back in my case for next time. But if you were doing lots of these, you would just leave it here. You would put each of your cards back in at that 1-inch mark, put the magnets back on, and you would just keep stamping and keep stamping. And you can do so many of these in a short amount of time. So we have that. Oh, good, Gay. I'm glad you like that tip. Oh, good. Yes, Joy, that tip about the washi tape. Isn't that amazing? Just amazing. So we are going to just reinforce that fold with our bone folder. I had it pre-scored. And I am going to use the die that comes in the Christmas cheer set. So this is our big outline die. Goes like that. And if you haven't seen me do this before, I love to have these little Post-it note flags. And I tap it off a couple of times on my pants or my shirt or my sleeve because you don't want it super, super sticky. You don't want to rip your paper. So I've just taken a tiny bit of the stickum off. I hold it down like this so that as I walk behind me to my die cutting machine, it won't move. So let me just leave our card here, and I'm just going to turn around and cut this. So please hold one moment. All right, so here is our, you don't want to rip it. Here is our beautiful floral die cut, so pretty. And then, I don't know about you, but I love to just leave that little Post-it note on there and put it back in here so that I can just keep reusing it. Sometimes I stick that to my die cutting machine. Sometimes I leave it in here. The other thing I have done ahead of time is I have used this holly die and this little sprig die, and I used a whole bunch of scraps of green cardstock. And I die cut several different leaves to use on this project. And I love to stick them to my roll of glue dots. And that way I have them ready and they're not scattered and they're ready to go. So I'm going to put those up there. Did those ahead of time. I know that several people ask each time I have my dies out, and so I'll just mention that I get my magnet sheets and these wonderful pockets from Stampin' Storage, and I will try to remember to link to that below the video when I'm done. I do have an affiliate link that you are welcome to use. So you can see if I were to just put this on the background, it's a little kind of too busy, at least it was for me. So I pulled out a scalloped rectangle. Now this one is from Stitched So Sweetly, as is this one. You can tell because the scallops are very tiny. This one with the larger scallops is from the Scalloped Contour die set. So I just thought I would look and see if I wanted to do this larger one. It does cover up kind of a lot of that background stamp. I don't know, so let me just see. Do I want to do a tinier one? I thought that might, yeah, you know what? I actually kind of like that. And then we'll have a lot of this going off the edge. Let's do that. I like the smaller one. So these are both from Stitched So Sweetly. So we will stamp a greeting on here from the set, the Words of Cheer set. Where did I put it? Hang on. I must have buried it. I did. It's like it couldn't go far because we were both sitting here together, right? So let's try. I'm going to do this one, Sending You Christmas Cheer. And I'm thinking just right up here, just like that. That's what I'm going to do with it. And I think I'll do Real Red because Real Red is just such a happy, pretty red, isn't it? Hello, Will from Brazil. Welcome. My goodness, that is amazing. And I do like to stamp before I glue it on to my... Oh, I'm so sorry. I just hit the camera. Oh, dear. So sorry. Didn't mean to make you all super dizzy. I love to stamp before I actually attach it to my project, just in case we have an oops. And I don't want to... Oh, it's perfect. You know, I don't want to have this already glued down and then... Uh-oh. So, we stamp first. And then we will assemble. So I'll show you how I assembled and added these nice little leaf bits. I'm just going to use seal on this one. And then I'm going to use the foam adhesive sheet for adding a piece of adhesive foam to the back of this. And it, by the way, if you have not colored with blends before, this is perfectly normal, and it's actually what you want to achieve. You want the color to come back to the back side, because that means you've saturated it and you have enough color on there that your pieces are, your images are actually blending together. So don't worry, that is actually a good thing, but it's also why you want to have your, in my case, I used the 8x8 grid paper under there. If you just have your larger grid paper, if you have just a scrap paper, whatever you have, you definitely want to have that underneath because you don't want it to get all over your table, right? Okay, so if I should have said this, but I hope you saw, I put a square under there and I left all these little edges free. And the reason is because we want to be able to tuck these pieces underneath. And if I had dimensionals all the way around to the edge, then we wouldn't be able to tuck these under. So I'm picking them up off of here. They each have a glue dot, and I'm just picking them up with my little pokey tool. Now this is our old retired one because I use this for sticky gooey stuff. You can use the newer, take your pick tool, but then if you get it sticky, you need to keep cleaning it, and I'm not great at cleaning it off often, so I use my old one. Let's see, how about if we stick one kind of under here? Yep, I like that. And another one of these. Let's see, maybe right there. Well, it doesn't really show that much, but it's okay. I think I like it. It still looks really nice. Yeah, it looks beautiful. It looks great. All right, and so, oh, Gay, the pad that I was stamping on, this is our Stampin' Pierce mat, and it is thick. The reason that you use it is because when you have a photopolymer stamp, there's no foam back here like the red rubber stamps, and you need that extra foam to get a really good image. So red rubber stamps have foam. Photopolymer stamps don't. So you use this to make up that difference in your stamping to get a better image. Yeah, good question. Thank you for asking, Gay. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Will. So nice of you. Glad you are enjoying all the tips, everyone. So then our last step here, you'll notice that these 3 large flowers still have the black centers from stamping our image. See, when you stamp it, they're black in the center. And I thought it would be pretty to put some rhinestones, some little goodies, jewels in the middle. So these, if you can believe it, I don't know if they show up much on camera, but they are the champagne rhinestones. And even though, I mean, this is kind of interesting because the champagne rhinestones in person are a really lovely, almost like the papaya, orangey, they're real pretty. So even though we don't have that color here, it really was a nice touch. And so I'm just going to go ahead and add them again. I think they are just really lovely on this card. Larger one on the larger flower, smaller one on the smaller flowers. And then I really contemplated adding a few more, but the more I looked at it, I just thought, I don't know. I just think it's really nice just as it is. I didn't really think it needed extra bling. I know. Did I really say that? Didn't need it extra bling? I did. I said it. This one, though, I did add red rhinestones, both in the center and around a little bit. So I thought that was a nice touch. A little bit of red ribbon on this one. So that is my finished card, again with the Festive Foliage background stamp paired with the Words of Cheer bundle. They are all available in my online store. You can also see these on pattystamps.com tomorrow, Saturday, October 30th. You'll see these and you'll get all the info, the shopping links. Actually, I think I put the shopping links on today's post, which was the teaser with this card. So you can go there right now and get all the shopping links if you need to purchase any of the supplies. Oh, thank you, everyone. I'm so glad you liked it. Oh, Marcy, the background stamp is Festive Foliage. And then I wanted to show you, I said I had a bonus for you. So just before I let you go, in the Christmas cheer dies, which is part of the Words of Cheer bundle, there are 2 dies that say cheer and 2 that say happy. And I did make a card with the cheer die, so I wanted to show you that before you go. Here it is. This will be on my blog on another time. But this one, I have extras die cut here, so I'll show you. So this die cuts like this. They're all connected. It has little extra pieces and the word cheer. This die just cuts out letters. So here are the letters in here. And I thought it would be handy, excuse me. Gosh, I don't know why I couldn't say that word. I put adhesive sheets on the back before I die cut them so that they were like little stickers. And then I was able to just use a couple dots of glue to hold down the shimmer vellum on the bottom layer. And then I put each letter down because they were sticky. So that was really easy. This piece is the stitched greenery die. I guess you call it die cutting. It's really like embossing. But that is on soft succulent cardstock and then die cut with the Stitched So Sweetly scalloped rectangle. And then I did my sentiment on a circle, added some evening evergreen ribbon because the background was the evening evergreen. So that's just a little bonus. That'll be on my blog. I don't know when, maybe in the next couple of weeks coming up so that you can see that. Thank you, everyone. So glad you enjoyed these. Thanks, Talina. Thanks, Susan, Kathy, Teresa. Oh, Robin, thank you, everyone. Thanks so much. Oh, thank you. Oh, my goodness, everybody, you're so kind today. Thank you. Thanks, Marcy. So sweet of you. Does anyone have questions about how I created these, about the coloring, any of those things? I'd be happy to answer your questions before we go. I have an important lunch date with Tammy. And I'm starving. I hope you haven't heard my stomach growling. Oh my goodness, I'm starving. Thanks, Barbara, Susan, Lori. Oh, thank you, everyone. So sweet of you. Oh, good. Okay, Cheryl says not embellishing the rest of the card. Yeah, I think there's enough going on, right? I think those extra little holly bits tucked in there just gave it just enough, don't you think? Just enough. No, not stays on. Excuse me while I reach. It's Memento ink. You always need to use Memento when you're coloring with your blends. Good question. Any other questions? Be happy to answer them before we go. Hope you all have a great weekend. I do have a customer email going out tomorrow morning with a throwback photo from 28 years ago at Halloween. So you'll have to look at that. Let me know what you think about the perm and the whole bit. Oh, thanks, Patty. Yes, I will enjoy my lunch date so much. We have fun. Any questions about this before we go? I do appreciate you joining me live so much, and I hope that you enjoy our fun Fridays together. Okay, I am not seeing any other questions, so I am going to assume that everything went well, and I thank you. I do know you enjoyed the cards so much. Thank you so much. We will see each other next week, and we will be creating more fun projects. Have a great weekend, and I hope you get some crafting time in. See you next time. Bye-bye.